Imagine a single, fateful night that literally shatters a universe forever. Welcome to this explainer where we're diving deep into the stunning and absolutely heartbreaking events of the Chronicles of Aetherion, the Void, and the Sacrifice. If you're someone who appreciates beautifully stark aesthetic contrasts, devastating personal stakes, and world building that pulls exactly zero punches, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to break down the sheer chaos of a night where absolute power clashes head-on with ultimate consequence. Okay, let's dive right into this chilling warning from Lyra. The Council's past sins are returning, and the Void King is free. That one single transmission sets the entire tragedy into motion. But, before we even hear this message, we've got to look at the boy who found it. It's the night Kael turns 18, and suddenly he isn't just a young man anymore. He becomes this localized cosmic event. He literally starts floating above the soaring spires of the city, glowing fiercely like a second moon. The very sky above him cracks with jagged silver lightning. It is an arrival of power that Aetherion has never seen before. And as this terrifying glowing might manifest, it kicks off a rapidly collapsing timeline. To really grasp the sheer panic of this story, we have to realize this wasn't some slow burn war. Not at all. It was a 4-hour freefall. We're talking about going from Kael's violent awakening in the first hour, to unearthing forgotten secrets, to reality itself breaking wide open, and finally ending in a devastating, universe-altering sacrifice. Keep that frantic chronological flow in mind as we unpack these incredibly dense, fast-moving moments. Now, what's really interesting about this is that while Kael is out there practically lighting up the sky, the Council of Guardians isn't exactly throwing a parade. Actually, they are completely paralyzed. They're fiercely debating whether this unprecedented, glowing power is a salvation for their people or the apocalypse itself. And the irony here, they're totally frozen by their own guilt. They know the dark history of their world, and they're terrified that Kael's arrival might just be the catalyst for a doom they thought they had buried centuries ago. Kael, meanwhile, he couldn't care less about council politics or ancient guilt. He has a single, piercing motivation: finding his lost sister Lyra. It's this incredibly personal drive that pushes him to just abandon the beautiful floating metropolis of Aetherion entirely. He descends deep down into the dark, forgotten, subterranean levels lying beneath those glowing spires. He isn't looking to be a savior, he's just a brother looking for his family. And that search leads him deep underground into this dusty, completely abandoned subterranean lab. Honestly, you kind of have to appreciate the Council's terrible operational security here, literally burying their greatest sins directly under their capital city. So Kael brushes away the dust and activates an ancient console. Suddenly, the room illuminates with the pale light of a flickering holographic recording. It's Lyra. This is the exact moment Kael discovers the dark truth about those buried secrets. Lyra delivers that desperate warning. The Council's past sins have caught up with them. The Void King has been released. The doom the Council was so afraid of, it isn't Kael, it's already here. Lyra's warning was immediate. There was zero delay. Alarms screamed. Panic erupted across the city. Kael didn't even have a single second to process the hologram. He couldn't even leave the lab. The threat arrived instantly. Above ground, the beautiful Aetherion night sky, that exact same sky that was just cracking with Kael's silver lightning, was violently torn asunder. A jagged, massive black rift ripped through the atmosphere. It looked just like a bleeding cosmic wound. Reality itself broke wide open over the floating metropolis. And from that jagged black wound, the invasion began. The creatures of the Void Army poured out. And they didn't just march, they spilled from the rift like this thick, suffocating, oily smoke. Within moments, the brilliant floating city of Aetherion was completely plunged into chaos, terror, and absolute shadow. So what are they actually facing? This isn't just an invading army, it is a terrifying alternate dimension. As we know, the Void is defined by corrupting dark energy, entirely twisted physics, and it's ruled by the unstoppable Void King. Commander Riven, who's leading the city's defenses, practically begs Kael not to go near it. But, driven by the knowledge that Lyra is somehow connected to all this, Kael completely ignores the warnings. Relying entirely on his overwhelming new power, he recklessly flies directly up into the sky and straight into a dimension where physics literally go to die. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer aesthetic whiplash Kael experiences upon crossing the rift. It is absolutely stunning.
He leaves behind the wondrous reality of Aetherion, with its bright silver lightning and beautiful natural sky, and is immediately crushed by the twisted nature of the void. Normal physics completely gone. Inverted mountains float upside down beneath burning, unnatural blue oceans. The whole atmosphere is choked with this ambient, pulsing purple energy. It's a completely alien, terrifying reality. Deep within this twisted dimension, Kael finally finds what he was looking for. But it is a grim discovery. He finds Lyra, but not the sister he remembers. She's chained inside a massive, pulsating crystal prison, entirely corrupted by the ambient dark energy she has had to endure for years. The person he knew is gone. She's been replaced by someone who has had to survive in the very heart of absolute darkness. So the crucial point is this ultimate tragedy. Kael's godlike power, it means absolutely nothing. His arrival, glowing like a second moon, was supposed to mean something, but despite his unprecedented might, it simply is not enough. The Void King remains entirely unstoppable, and the battle unfolding around them is fundamentally unwinnable by force. All the silver lightning in the universe cannot close the rift or defeat this army. A completely different, drastic choice must be made right now if Aetherion is going to survive. Let's move to and see how this builds, because seeing no other way, Lyra takes control in one of the most agonizing and transcendent moments in the entire lore. Using her corrupted strength, she violently breaks free from her crystal chains and does the unthinkable. She actively absorbs the core energy of the void itself directly into her own body. The dark energy transforms her into this blinding, terrifying beacon of intertwined light and pure darkness. She's preparing herself for the ultimate sacrifice, merging her newly transformed body directly with the cosmic wound. As she absorbs that unfathomable power, Kael is desperately pleading with her. He's begging to save her. But Lyra, she just smiles at her brother. With a final surge of power, she pushes Kael violently backward, throwing him toward the exit and entirely out of the dimension. As he falls back into Aetherion, Lyra merges completely with the collapsing rift entrance. She literally sacrifices herself to stitch reality back together, sealing the gate forever and saving the universe from the Void King. Now, why does this matter? What should we really take away from all this? This highly fantastical story resonates so deeply with us because it forces us to confront incredibly human themes. It shows us the destructive nature of hidden secrets, how the Council's past sins created this apocalyptic threat, proving that buried mistakes always resurface. And it perfectly encapsulates the agonizing, tragic cost of love and duty. I mean, Kael gained the power of a god, but all he wanted was his sister. Lyra had to lose her humanity just to save her brother's world. It's a profound story about the heavy, heavy price of salvation. The prophecy debated by the council assumed Kael was either the ultimate savior or the apocalypse. But as the dust settles and the sky finally heals, we are left with a beautifully stark question. If absolute glowing power couldn't stop the void, was Kael ever truly the savior? Or was he simply granted that power just so he could survive the rift and serve as the sole witness to his sister's true sacrifice? Think deeply on that as you consider the real nature of power and consequence.